Hi, welcome back to Lost in the Real. I'm Morgan.
And I'm Sean, and today we are doing a spoiler conversation of It's What's Inside because honestly, we just can't help ourselves.
Yes, so true. And so if you haven't watched the movie, or you just don't want spoilers, please walk away from this video, go find the non-spoiler review on Lost in the Real page, and watch that instead until you watch the movie.
Absolutely. We don't want to give you any spoilers because if you haven't seen it, because this is one of those movies, you just gotta go in fresh. But if you have seen it, then you have to talk about it with your friends. So honestly, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
All restraints off, Morgan.
Let's do it. It's What's Inside.
Okay, It's What's Inside. What I loved about this film is, holy shit, I had no idea what to expect. And all I knew was that there was a suitcase. I didn't even know what was in the suitcase or what it had to entail. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, wait, this isn't like a horror movie. This is a kind of sci-fi-ish movie where people are swapping bodies. And the one thing, I love the idea of it, and I think they set it up really well with, you put the little electrodes to your head, and that goes on for 20 seconds or whatever, and then all of a sudden everyone's like tuned into it. But then I'm like, I want to know these characters more.
But we know them. It's
How
okay.
do we know them, though?
I just disagree. I feel like we could see every character in the small little, and yes, you're right that they're archetypes in a way. But also I think that is also the point. Like, they are just these like sad little cliches of human beings that we see, especially in like younger millennial Gen Z generations a little bit. And that's the point. I think he was going for, like, do you see yourself in this little cliche of a human in a way? And like,
that's an interesting thought, Morgan.
Yeah, see? And then, okay, and real quick, a spoiler, like, we get to the house, we see who Ruben is, like, his mom died, she was an artist, he has this great house, and then, like, even the marriage, the wedding, and then, I don't know, I gotta get my thoughts in order, but we see,
okay.
What's their names, Brooke and...
Dislike for this whole part of the movie comes from the fact that, like, I just don't like these people.
And that's the point. And he succeeded in that. That's, in my opinion, that's the point.
And I also felt this way. Have you seen Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
Ugh, I tried starting it. I couldn't even finish it.
Okay, so this movie's not nearly as, like, they, like, go there when it comes to, like, the cringe on the characters in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So it's not like that. But I did feel a certain amount of, like, oh God, I don't like any of these people. I do think with the Brittany O'Grady character, Shelby, I think her name is, and Cyrus, her boyfriend, I do think that opening scene was perfect. It really set up their relationship in a way that, like, made so much sense, and it really made you hate that guy, and it made you understand her insecurities in a way that was really smart. But then I just didn't feel like they did that with everybody else. Maybe with Ruben, maybe with Dennis, because Dennis was kind of involved in the whole thing with the sister. And what's his name? What was the guy who comes with the suitcase?
Forbes.
So Forbes and his sister. I kind of got what was going on with them, But I don't know, I just never felt like I connected to any of these people. And then because it throws you so quickly into this body swapping nonsense, which I loved.
Hmm.
And when I say nonsense, I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, I know.
I felt a little lost because I was waiting for someone to really root for.
You weren't rooting for Shelby. I think she was like the protagonist, the final
Yeah,
girl.
and that's who they want you to root for. But then I stopped rooting for her at some point throughout the movie because I'm like, now she's kind of evil, and now
And
she wants to be somebody else, and now
love that.
and that's okay. That's fair.
I like it's really because again I was worried about the archetypes and the trope of like her being like the final girl protagonist, like you're gonna root for her, but then she switches a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, that's refreshing. Like, let's see her kind of be like, kind of fuck you to everyone and be like, I want this. I love that. That again was one of the more refreshing things about the writing.
Yeah, and I also did really love the ending too. I don't want to like jump all the way to the ending,
Yeah, we can't do that.
but like that was so refreshing to me. Like when she's just like, "Fuck you, you deserve to be in jail, you motherfucker." Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was a very like whoa kind of ending that doesn't really happen in film very often. So I
Yeah.
was really surprised by that kind of like turn of events. But I still like throughout the movie, I don't know, like I just needed them to build upon that character development in the first act to really get behind what was going on at the end.
I I can see. I know what you're saying because I do kind of wish like, ooh, if we had a little bit more of who they are, but I
Mm.
still stand by that. That's the point of it. Like the, I mean, we had a very short amount of time and a lot of swapping insights,
Yeah.
and I think you needed that exaggeration, two-dimensional characters to identify them a little quicker.
Mm.
That helped. And then I still stand by that we got to see the more important ones later on as the movie developed.
Mm.
Like Nikki's character, we kind of saw more of her. She wasn't just like a Instagram blah blah blah,
Yeah,
like
like an Instagram influencer, and everyone
yeah.
just expects them to be stupid and blah blah blah. Like
and
she actually had the depth to her, and you're right about that.
and then
And I think that you're really right about if they had almost opened these characters up more, then it almost would have been harder to differentiate them whenever they started swapping bodies.
exactly, I think it was on purpose to show like here they are and they're two-dimensional and you can identify them, but then as shit hit the fan more, we could see
Mm.
a little bit deeper into the characters. Shelby, for example, Nikki, Cyrus, even Dennis to a point.
Yeah.
um, and then and so the foreshadowing of you're just like of Shelby being like not the goody goody girl we thought she was and switching sides, that was beautiful foreshadowing,
Mhm.
not beautiful, but like I enjoyed the foreshadowing,
Yeah.
towards the end. Oh, I'm
So
convincing you, I can see it.
so interesting. I just like, would this film have not worked if they didn't use these stereotypes and these archetypes of these characters? Would it not have worked because we got too much into their heads and then we were not able to differentiate what was going on, or who deserved to live, who deserved to be swapped out, all of these different things? That's super interesting.
I think so, and I don't know, that's what I got, but also I love the acting so much because uh like them playing each other to be
Yeah.
like I just thought they did it wonderfully.
The actor who played Forbes, there was like one scene when he was playing Cyrus, I believe,
Hmm.
and he was so much like that Cyrus actor that I was like, whoa. Like it was like his voice was coming out of him. And then she all of a sudden looked at it, she's like, I can see your face, Cyrus, in Forbes's face, and I was
Yeah,
like, I can kind of see it too.
I can kind of see it too. And then the actor who played Cyrus and his portrayal of Dennis even was like so
Mhm.
great. Like I don't even think he spoke in the scene where I think they're like tripping balls or something. And just the shit-eating grin that was on his face, I was like, oh, those
Yeah.
little things, they're not like, just for me to identify Dennis from a shit-eating grin on Cyrus's face
Mm.
that's the kind of character telling, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think you're opening up my mind to this movie a little bit more because I really looked at it at face value. I also think my mind's just going in a lot of directions, but I think that like that movie Bodies, 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 like that would have been a perfect name for this movie.
Yeah. Too bad they
Like,
got it first.
like all these different bodies and souls in different bodies. Um, Okay, so I want to go towards the end now and kind of see what your perspective on the ending is because we didn't really touch upon this in our non-spoiler review because it's kind of difficult. But
Hmm.
what were your thoughts on the end where they brought in Forbes's sister?
I mean, when it happened, I was like, oh shit. But then I was like, oh, it wasn't very creative, but also I'm glad they tied it in because it does, like, the whole time I was like, wow, he's really pissed about his sister and getting expelled. Um,
Yeah.
and because I don't know, who was Forbes? He was a party guy, but he's very stoic now at this party, like
Mm,
wanting revenge and stuff. We weren't sure. And so I was kind of like curious to be like, who is this person? I don't know. Oh, sorry, I don't know. And so for it to be the sister the whole time, it makes complete sense that that's where they would go, but it did still surprise me a little.
yeah.
What do you
Honestly,
think?
I didn't love it.
No?
No, I thought that it made sense and it was like one of those endings like okay, like I get why they would bring in the sister and I'm happy that they like kind of gave us a conclusion to what happened to that story because honestly I thought that that story was one of the things that really connected me to this film because we got like an outside perspective other than what's going on at this wedding party about
Mm-hmm.
what happened in their past because we have these friends with these huge pasts, you know, they've been friends for so long and I like didn't know a lot about their past and what has happened to them in the past. So knowing that little bit of information, it really connected me a little bit more to the characters. So bringing in the sister was super interesting, but it was almost like that story wasn't touched upon enough. Like there was that one scene when it was like that really cool scene of the picture that kept changing. I
So
love that.
fun. I love
So
that.
good. And then there was like the one scene, like maybe halfway through, when Dennis apologized to Forbes, and they were like talking about it, and then that was it. So it didn't seem like when all of a sudden this crazy bitch shows up, you know, it's like I don't know, it didn't work for me completely, and it was one of those like coin drops where it's like yes, like we're like getting you guys, you know, like this is like this crazy twist and it didn't feel earned for me, I guess.
Hmm. I could see that. I could see it like not being earned. That's a good way to put it. Um, I I still like it though. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you going back to like disliking all these characters and the fact that you came back being like, all y'all fucking suck. I'm gonna get your
Yeah,
asses. So that tied in their shitty fucking characters,
that's true.
and that's when I didn't know Forbes. I was like, what's his role here? Like, who is he gonna be? And then that talk with Dennis, a little like tingle went on in the back of my head, and I
Mhm.
was like, there's something much more going on with this character than just like simple revenge for these like two guys. I don't know. That was like I liked that. I don't know. Um what I didn't super like, I guess, was I don't know.
Nothing.
Nothing. I actually really like the more I think about it, I'm just like I really enjoyed it. I like it was kind of like with the sister coming in. I was like a little like, oh, what a twist! Like it was a sister all along. But then I was like, but it was nice.
Yeah. And I liked how it tied back together. I'm glad that they did that. I don't think it worked completely. What I do love, though, is that the main characters that we start with, Cyrus and Shelby, we hated their relationship at the very beginning. And then after all of this crazy shit, they end up being in their right bodies. And it's still like their relationship is still beyond fucked up.
Yeah, and I love it. And like now we see like Shelby for her kind of badassness. Also,
Exactly.
What the fuck did that dental hygienist do? But
I don't know.
that was-
I thought that was so funny that they kept bringing up the dental hygienist too. Like, I'm like, what happened there? But
What
that's like that's a
happened?
fun little thing that you can just like think about afterwards, you know?
yeah. I don't know if I liked the ending. I love that part of the ending, but I don't know if I like the final shot of her like driving off in Nikki's body in the convertible with the suitcase and like that. I didn't think that needed to happen.
You're right. Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just like maybe it. I don't know. You didn't have to show her doing that. That's like
We didn't need that visual.
we didn't need that visual. We didn't need the flashback. Like we kind of know what was going on with her. I guess
It's
or
almost like that horror trope, but like playing with it, that like the killer gets away or whatever, and they're gonna like continue on this spree, you know, like, oh, this is gonna continue. It's almost like that like trope, but playing with it. So I don't mind it completely, but
Yeah.
it's like, why is she doing that? Is she really like super unhinged? Like, I don't know anything. I don't know enough about her character. That's the thing. Once again, I don't know enough about her to like be like, oh, there she goes, that crazy bitch. You know, like, is she really a crazy bitch though? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess she had episodes.
It's- That's what they say.
But also like, who knows? But also for her doing all of this, and then I guess what did she say in Forbes Body? Like you get addicted to switching the insides or whatever.
Yeah.
So like,
Maybe she's addicted.
I think she, yeah, and I think she is a little unhinged in a very fun way.
I wouldn't say fun. I don't know.
That's another thing about the storytelling though, like you don't know anything about her and then you kind of see her as this person who's been fucking with these people who fucked with her like 9-10 years ago or something. And it's like, oh yes, that's the character, that's who you are, you come for revenge. You've
been planning this for a while, you crazy bitch.
yeah, you know. And so like, yeah, and then she rides off in style. That's exactly who she is. Yeah, I have very very little complaints about this. Like I like it. I like it.
The more I talk about it with you, the more I do enjoy it. But I do stick to my 3.5 score, just because I don't know. There was something that I was expecting more. I don't know what it was, but and I think I've explained it enough. Like I was hoping for more depth to it, but it is more of a like bodies situation where it's like it's more about the idea, the visual storytelling, and all of that, and it's really fun and entertaining and weird, and it's good. It's a good mind bender, but it's just not. There's not more to it than that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching Lost in the Reel.
We told you our thoughts, spoiler thoughts about this movie. It's What's Inside. Please let us know your thoughts. Give us all the spoiled details in the comments down below. We'd love to read them.
Yes, we would. And until next time, my friends, take care.